This collect really struck me at the beginning of this week, and I've been praying with it all week. Almighty and merciful God, graciously keep from us all adversity, so that unhindered in mind and body alike, we may pursue in freedom of heart the things that are yours. And this prayer assumes a couple of things, right? First of all, it assumes that we are living our lives in pursuit of the things of God. And so that's the first question that we should ask ourselves. Are we, in fact, pursuing the things of God? Is that what our life is about? Or are we pursuing our own things? And I've been talking about this prayer a little bit with different priests over the week. And I heard two stories that I thought were kind of interesting, one from Father Cleves and one from Father Joey. And it's really the same story in a way, but with two different endings. Father Joey told me about when he and Bishop Foys were, I forget if they were at St. Meinrad or St. Vincent, but one of the Benedictine monasteries. And the bishop was up there to do a mass. And Father Joey was in the sacristy, and this little monk comes up. I know who the monk he's talking about. He's older, and he's got something wrong with his spine, so he's kind of bent over at a weird angle. And so Father Joey's in the sacristy, and this monk comes in, and Father Joey says, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Well, I'm here for the service. It starts at 5, right?" And Joey said, "Oh, no, it starts at 5:30. And the monk said, "Oh, good, 15 more minutes of Lectio." Lectio means Lectio Divina. It's a kind of prayer, you know. He says, "Oh, good, 15 more minutes of Lectio." And Father Joey said he sort of scurried off with a smile on his face, you know. The story Father Cleves told me had a rather different ending. This was years ago, so it would have been, I don't know if it was Bishop Hughes or Bishop Ackerman. Anyway, they were gathered at one of the parishes for, probably a confirmation, I don't know, something that the bishop was coming to. And the bishop had sent a message that he was going to be late. So the priests were all in the sacristy, and the pastor came in and made that announcement. The bishop's going to be 10 or 15 minutes late. And so one of the priests, and I knew him quite well, he's dead now. But one of the priests says, "Oh, good, I can get another cigarette in." And he goes out to smoke another cigarette. And while I don't mean it literally, are you spending your life smoking or are you spending your life praying? I mean, we obviously can't pray every moment. But it's a nice little picture, In which camp do you fall in? When you find an extra 15 minutes, are you more likely to go off and do your own thing? Or are you likely to take that unexpected time to pursue something of God, We can ask ourselves, what do we do with a free evening? We find ourselves with a free evening, or a free weekend, or what do we do on our vacation, How many novels do we read compared to how much scripture do we read, Just things like that. It's worth asking ourselves, is my life really about pursuing the things of God, or is it about pursuing my own things, The other part that caught me here was about this idea of adversity. And the implication is kind of that it's adversity that keeps us from pursuing the things of God, And I thought about that. Is that really true? Certainly wasn't true for the 7 brothers in our first reading. I know we heard a very shortened version of that story. But it was not true for them, They were both ready to endure anything in pursuit of the things of God, And I was thinking of Jesus. It certainly wasn't true for Jesus. Nothing kept him from doing the things of his Father. I was even thinking about when he was 13, not even family kept from him. Did you not know I have to be about my Father's business? He was single-minded in his pursuit of the things of God. And I was thinking about this bishop, Vietnamese bishop. He's a cardinal now. There were actually his causes. I don't know if he's been beatified yet or not, but I know they were working on it. Cardinal Francis Xavier Nguyen Phan Thuan, there's a name for you. But I did pull up just a little thing. I was going to read a tiny thing. He was an archbishop when he was imprisoned. And he knew that celebrating Mass was his most important duty, but he had no church, no altar, no tabernacle. How then could he fulfill his duty as a bishop? He turned the concentration camp into a cathedral, and the palm of his hand into an altar. He turned his shirt pocket into a tabernacle, and turned the darkness of the sleeping quarters into a dwelling place for light himself. Because of this ingenuity, many prisoners regained the fervor of their faith. The prisoners were reminded to embrace suffering and to use their current circumstances to grow in their faith. We have so many examples of people who did not let adversity keep them from pursuing the things of God. And I was comparing it this week to either things that I've said or things that I've heard, about why we don't even just do something simple like go to Mass. I was too tired. I was out of town. My children had a soccer tournament. We were doing that. We were on vacation, and it was 45 minutes or an hour to the nearest church. Think about all the things all the excuses we use. We turn seemingly adversity into excuse why we can't pursue things of God. And so I decided this week, it occurred to me, it's not really adversity that keeps us from pursuing the things of God. It's our own desire or lack of it, And so I was thinking about this. For someone who wants to pursue the things of God, no adversity can keep her from it. And for someone who's not that interested in pursuing the things of God or doesn't want to, any adversity, however slight, is a good enough reason not to.